So I pretty much disagree with the entire left-wing media regarding Marianne Williamson. You have a group that is pretty unhinged, in my opinion, who are constantly going after her. Parts of that group, or a part of that group, was a person who challenged me when I called her out. My initial instincts were not positive about her. And then as I started paying attention, I picked up on a vote blue no matter who sort of aura that she had. And the same group that's now going after her, right, hardcore, disagreed with me, right? Now they're gone all extreme. Then you have another group they're gone full Tucker Carlson, full Fox News, basically operating as her marketing team, right? Hardcore. Anyone that does any videos critiquing her, ooh, such smeared Marianne Wilson. Like, it's funny how someone calls out someone that you want to be aligned with or you're aligned with, and it's automatically smeared. It's like, imagine if no one knew Trump, he wasn't famous, and he came on the scene, in politics, and someone, was talking about him and saying how he cheats in golf, and he's kind of narcissistic, and he lies a lot, and then someone who likes him is like, oh, they're smearing Trump. How is smearing Trump saying things about him that are true? I don't think people know what the definition of smearing is, right? To call Marianne Wilson kind of kooky, I don't think that's a smear, right? To mention about her sort of bizarre spirituality and, she's got some weird ideas. And I find a lot of American voters to be a little bit naive. They tend to vote based on talk, right? I mean, it's like you go to a used car salesman and he says that this is the best deal, you're not going to find a better deal. Most people are thinking like, yeah, you're just trying to sell a car. But a politician, all you got to do is say the right words. You don't have to have a track record, right? There's no assessment of your character, it seems. It's just you're saying the right stuff. So she can be as kooky as she wants and have whatever weird beliefs, but say enough of the stuff that these folks connect with, and they'll just ignore all the other stuff, right? And then if you go, like someone like me goes and says something negative about her, the focus will be, well, at least she agrees with Medicare for all or whatever it is. So think about what that means. If I want to con the American left, all I got to do is say enough buzzwords, say, minimum wage this and Medicare for all, housing should be a right? Just look for the most popular stuff, basically what Trump does, right? And the American left will overlook a whole bunch of negative things about me, and when people challenge me, they'll defend me and say, but he supports Medicare for all, right? Serious red flags, other issues. They can't see past the fact that I said that I'm for Medicare for all. They don't see any sort of warning or red flags that indicate possibly that once I get in power, I'm just going to be like everybody else, right? They just keep falling for the same scams over and over again, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. The definition of, and to suggest that perhaps this is sort of a publicity stunt to sell books, I don't look at that as smearing. That seems like a logical thing, just knowing how things work in this country, and looking at her conduct. I mean, if you're saying that definitively, that's another story. But, as journalists, in the news media, you are expected to sort of think a little bit deeper and, present ideas to your audience, right? Be very clear that it's an opinion, of course, versus fact. I mean, if you're seeing signs that someone might be doing something, I think it's your job to share that with your audience. Just be very clear that it's an opinion. You can't back it up. But if you see someone, because think about it, a political candidate comes out and you're seeing a lot of warning flags that they're like a fake candidate or something. What kind of journalism are you doing if you don't even suggest that that might be a possibility to your audience? Right? They're coming to you for knowledge and to learn about this, what's happening in this person, and you know, knowing politics better and having, you know, hopefully, you know, better analytical skills in your audience, you're going to sit there and just keep your mouth shut. So anyway, the other thing that I find to be interesting is that there's no discussion at all whatsoever about why is it that this seems to be the best option that the progressives have, right? I mean, if you look at Joe Biden, you could ask the same question, right? Why was Joe Biden the guy? Now, there's many answers to that question, including the DNC rigging, not the kind of rigging right-wing media likes to talk about, the real rigging that pushed Bernie out. But it's beyond that. Look at how rich and powerful we are as a country. And he was the only guy. And the only alternative is Bernie. 2 old guys, that's what we got. Then you look at Marianne Williamson, and that's it. Look at all the millions of people in this country. And we couldn't find anyone that is just sort of normal, right? Has progressive values, willing to push for the things that the people want, right? But doesn't have these weird, like, The Secret Oprah online hustler, I'm trying to sell my books thing going on. Really? 300 million people in this country, and this is all. And not only is there no discussion about why is she the only option, right? The main option that we have. There's not a discussion about changing that, right? So we're just on a hamster wheel over and over again, right? How did we end up in a situation where this is the best option we have? And how can we change it so in the future you have a more serious, solid progressive candidate? Not some old guy, not some woman that might be trying to sell some books, right? With some, you know, ooh, we're gonna rule with love, right? That is not the way most Americans think, right? Can we get somebody more representative of the American people, right? I will welcome radical. Radical is good in the right way. It's not the issue, but we don't need the cookie, right? Anyway, I completely disagree with every take that I've seen in left-wing media, from the propagandists that are pushing her and defending her like a little clique, because YouTube is like high school, it's all about cliques, to the unhinged ones going after her. I don't fit in with either of these groups, and I'll explain why. Let's begin.
Knock yourselves out.
So I have a bigger breakdown on my channel this week. My first video on it. Basically, I don't know. Point is, she's not going to defeat Biden for the nomination. Just to quickly clear anybody that thinks that is a possibility.
That's not the point.
It's not like Bernie Sanders. It's not like Donald Trump. Voters on the right vote because of emotion, that kind of thing. Democratic voters vote usually based on media narratives, based on what's comfortable, based on who they're told is electable. That's not Marianne Williamson. We're talking about a primary. We're talking about an incumbency in Joe Biden. So it's not like 26.
I don't know about the implications that voters on the right vote on emotion. I'm pretty sure on the left they do it as well. And if that wasn't the case, then the Democrats would not constantly try to scare their voters to the poll based on, you know, if you don't elect them, you're going to get the evil Republicans. And there's certainly many evil Republicans, but the point is, rather than try to win based on what they're going to do and by delivering, they focus more on, you know, if you don't elect us, scary things are going to happen, right? So Clearly, the Democrats think that their voters do vote based on emotion, among other things, of course.
16. Williamson's not in government, so anyways, she's not going to be Biden for various reasons. Watch my video for more on that. In terms of, whether this is a serious run, whether it's to sell her books, my point on that is
Very good question, and I commend him for even bringing that up.
that her intention doesn't matter as much as potential impact, and the potential impact, if she is covered, which I don't think she will be past this week, but if she is covered by the media, by mainstream press generally, then there is a potential there to have what she is discussing in her platform, which is a good. It's
Her body language right here. Represents the left, right? They had a huge opportunity to accomplish so much, right? They talk about minimum wage and health care, and they just let a pandemic go by, right? And I didn't see any major fight, serious organizing, really aggressive pushing. If you don't deliver on this, we won't vote for you. Right? They didn't go to war. They had a golden opportunity, and this is how they all, to me, her body language, that's it. Out to brunch. As soon as Biden got elected, all these guys, out to brunch. Build Back Better, out to brunch. Right? A few people came out for forced to vote. Right? And after that, out to brunch. Lean back, hands behind her head, eyes half closed. That's the American left. Weak, ineffective, a joke.
It's a working class message. It's a Bernie message. There is a good chance that could, maybe stop Biden from trying to just grab right wing voters, is what these runs typically try to do. They try to go after voters on the right as opposed to bring out new people to vote, is how Democrats should be trying to win. But I don't have much faith that's going to happen, because I don't think she's
so close, but just not close enough. I have a similar thought process to him when he says he doesn't really care about her intentions, but he's thinking small potatoes again. Typical weak left, right? I think more big scale, right? So I say the candidate doesn't really matter that much. What matters the most is us, because we're the ones that hold all the power. Without us, they can't get votes. Without votes, they can't get money or power, right? They need us, right? But they don't get that message listening to clowns like these people, right? Clowns like these people in the middle of Build Back Better, busy, Jimmy Dore versus Dumb Left or whatever nonsense, right? Content creators. That's what they are. It's all about entertainment, right? So my view is, again, the person doesn't really matter. What matters most is us. Because you can even have a Democratic candidate who is very corrupt, who is very conservative, and you can actually get a lot out of them, right? The way that you do that is by exercising your power, and your power is the power of the vote. If the Democrats felt that they had to really do some work to get any significant amount of votes, right, they would do so much more than they are. Right now, they know that they can, with their eyes closed, cruise control through an election. Even if they don't win, they lose by a small margin, so they'll be back in power shortly. There's no incentive to do much at all, right? Because you have people like this that'll keep the voters under control, keep them in the flock. The sheep herders, right? Online entertainers distracting the voters, hindering the potential of any kind of revolution. Any path to revolution will be blocked by self-interested influencers. That's the generation we're in, right? We may never see another major revolution in this country again because of this thing called social media. Because again, any potential revolution will get derailed by these entertainers, right? Distracted by trying to build their brand and get more attention and increase their profits, right? How many viewers am I getting? How many clicks am I getting? Right? That's a conflict of interest. Instead of doing what is most important to the revolution and to delivering and getting results, they will focus more on their brands, right? So if the voters were, so let's say for example Marianne Williamson, I don't have a lot of faith in her. She's got some wacky beliefs. I don't look at her as a serious candidate. I look at her as something similar to like an AOC, a lot of big talk, and then when she gets in power, it's a whole nother story, right? Big talk out of office, in office, not so much. When she gets in office, and it's kind of like, oh, we got to work with them. That's not how things work. You don't understand how this stuff works. It takes time, right? So what you do with her is you vote with demands and you vote with threats, right? We will not vote for you unless you're going to deliver X, Y, and Z, right? Non-negotiable. So you make your demands of what you expect from these politicians, and you make them commit that they're going to do these things as strongly as possible, right? And if they do so, and that's the only way they'll get your vote, they have to do that. Commit strongly to the things that are important to you. But at the same time as you're making that demand, you have to make that threat. There has to be consequences to failure. So as you are making your decision to vote and you're spreading your message about this is what it's going to take to get our votes, you need to also be telling these people, right? If it's Marianne Williamson you're going to vote for, telling her what's going to happen if she does not deliver. They need to have fear, knowing that if I get elected, I'm going to be absolutely destroyed the voters if I don't deliver, right? I'm going to be a one-term person, and by the way these voters sound so aggressive, they might actually try to get me out of power before my term is even done. They ain't playing. That is more important than the candidate, right? The aggression levels of the base are more important than the candidate. Whether it's Pelosi or Biden or Bernie, irrelevant, right? All of these people on their own, significantly constrained in terms of what they can deliver for us for many, many, many reasons, right? The maximum that you can get out of these people is going to be based on maximum pressure from we the people. We are what matters. No one is coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. So as far as Marianne Williamson, if you want to vote for her, right, if you're going to do it the right way, do your thing, right? Do your thing. But don't focus on who she is and what you think she might do. Focus on what you're going to do, right? The kind of demands you're going to make on her and how you're going to hold her accountable. That's what we need to focus on. Stop focusing on people. Stop looking for heroes. You're the hero. I'm the hero. We are what matters, not these corrupt politicians or opportunists or whatever they are, whatever label you want to put on them, right? So I don't have a lot of faith in her. Again, I think she's not going to really do much. Would she be better than a Biden? I don't know. I wouldn't want to get into that kind of conversation. Theoretically, yes. But with her, I don't know. She's on The Secret, right? The Secret, the book, which has quite a few scam artists that were involved in the production of it, right? that's the world that she comes from. So I don't have a lot of faith in what she will deliver. So I don't know. I'm not really interested in entertaining, that thought, because again, my focus is more on we the people. What are we gonna do, right? Regardless of who gets elected, what are we gonna do with our tremendous power that we have? Are we gonna continue to be listening to clowns like this who are focused on views and clicks and their channels? Or are we gonna take charge and demand more from our politicians and make sure that they fare us, not from a violent standpoint, but from a power standpoint? Deliver, or are we going to take the power away from you? Without us, they've got nothing. So those are my thoughts on that. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. This is a Debate Me channel.